I mean, I know this is a long video. I know this is a pretty long video, but Richmond does not need to lose the second date. It really did. It really did not need to lose the spring date because the fans said because not as a, I'm not looking at this as a fan. I'm not looking at this as an old school fan at all. I mean, yes, part of me is, but I'm looking at this as a financial aspect. On why tracks do not need to be ousted from the schedule. On why tracks do not need to be losing dates. Because it's hurting the wallet from the. It's really is hurting. It really is making making the track owners lose money, and making the city who owns that track lose money. It really is hurting the wallet. It really is hurting the wallet from the cities who owns those tracks. If you want, that's the reason why, in my opinion, I think they should extend the schedule. They should have a longer season. And if you want to keep it in November, if you want to keep the season in November, just do what they did in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. Add midweek races. So that way tracks won't have to worry about losing dates. That's the reason why fans won't have to wait until the end of the season to catch a race there. Especially the fans who wants to go there live. That's what I don't like about the 2020. Those are my dislikes about the 2025 schedule. What I don't like about the 2025 schedule. So now you have my opinion on what I don't like, and what I don't like, and what I do like about the 2025 schedule. But despite all that, I think 2025 is going to be a great season. I really feel bad for Tony Stewart and the drivers in Stewart-Haas Racing, because 2024 because this season only has 10 races to go. It's not just for this year's Sprint Cup Series season, or the Xfinity Series season, or the Truck Series season. This is the last 10 races of Stewart-Haas Racing. The team that was specifically owned by Tony Stewart. The season that gave Kevin Harvick his first champion. It's the team in the charter, Stewart-Haas Racing, gave the team that gave Kevin Harvick his first championship in the Sprint Cup Series. Gave guys like Chase Briscoe their first rides in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Gave Chase Briscoe his first ride in the Sprint Cup Series, driving Tony Stewart's car, 14. And Chase Briscoe was a Tony Stewart fan. And he got his first win at Darlington. This past Sunday. And then sadly, this is Tony Stewart's. This is Stewart-Haas's racing last win at Darlington. And I think it's a drive. And I feel terribly bad for that driver, Chase Briscoe. His first NASCAR win ever. 2020 Xfinity Series race at Darlington. The same track. One for the same team, Stewart-Haas Racing. After everything that driver's been through in 2020, his wife having a miscarriage. In the 2020 season, the same year as his first win. Chase Briscoe's first win. It's rough for that driver. And think he had another win, and think he had it in Chase Briscoe. Won in Sprint Cup Series for that team. Had his first win in the Sprint Cup Series at Phoenix in 2022. Kevin Harvick having his final win at Richmond in the 2022 season, in the 2022 fall race. The Chevy Rock and Roll 400, the same race that sparked his rivalry with Ricky Rudd when Kevin Harvick drove for Richard Childress Racing. Kevin Harvick scored his final win in the 2020 in the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. The swan song victory before he retired from that four. And yes, Tony Stewart, yes, Stewart-Haas Racing is actually shutting its doors for good after that last race at Phoenix. We can't help but to feel bad for Chase Briscoe. That was his first win at a Crown Jewel event. A NASCAR Crown Jewel race. The oldest race in the NASCAR schedule. Chase Briscoe gets Tony Stewart another victory as a team owner. Stewart-Haas Racing gave Kurt Busch a win in the Daytona 500 after so many tries. Almost had it done in 2005. And Kurt Busch finally did it. Won the Daytona 500 in 2017. The very first Daytona 500 that introduced stage racing in NASCAR. Kurt Busch finally got Tony Stewart a Daytona 500 crown. A race that Tony Stewart couldn't win by driving the car. Kurt Busch finally got him that first win at Daytona. The race that he couldn't win. The race that Tony Stewart could not win to save his life. Tony Stewart won everything at Daytona. He won the Xfinity Series. He won the Xfinity Series version of the Daytona 500 several times in his career. I think he won it at least 6 times. I think he won the Xfinity Series version of the Daytona 500 6 times. I mean, 2013. I think 2013 was a scary moment it was a scary moment. 2013 was a scary moment in the Xfinity Series version of the Daytona 500. Kyle Larson had a scary accident, similar to Austin Dillon's crash in the 2015 Pepsi 400. When Austin Dillon's car went airborne and flipped and slammed into the catch fence, in the Trial Vault at Daytona, on its roof. And Austin Dillon, despite that scary accident he had, was still able to walk out in his own power. Thanks to the safety feature that NASCAR has brought to these cars. In the Xfinity Series version of the Daytona 500, had the exact same scary accident involving Kyle Larson. Tony Stewart will go ahead and win that race. Tony Stewart will go ahead and win the 2013 Xfinity Series version of the Daytona 500. But Kyle Larson had a scary accident similar to Austin Dillon's scary crash. When Kyle Larson's car ricocheted airborne and smacked the catch fence, and slammed into the catch fence. The engine flew over the damaged sections of the Daytona catch fence in the Xfinity Series version of the Daytona 500 and went into the grandstands. And I'm really glad no fatalities happened. But some people did get hurt. In the grandstands. In the grandstands of that event. And those two crashes were not the only crashes that involved the catch fence. 1988 Winston 500. 1987 Winston 500. Bobby Allison. At Talladega, Bobby Allison's car spun, went airborne, and the rear end of that car slammed into the catch fence near the start finish line. But Bobby Allison's scariest accidents to ever take place. Neil Bonnet, same track, Die Hard 500, Talladega. His car went airborne in the trial, and the undercarriage of that car, and the tires, and all in the tires slammed into the catch fence. Some of the cars went over. Some of the cars back then, in the 1980s and 1990s, turns of Talladega did not have catch fencing. Some cars flipped and went over off the track, down that embankment. Yeah, races back then at Daytona and Talladega were extremely dangerous. 2009, Carl Edwards flipped. And Carl Edwards had the exact same flip. Had the exact same crash. Carl Edwards had the exact same wreck as Davey Allison. Yeah, his car went airborne. Yeah, Brad Keselowski spun out Carl Edwards. 99 Carl Edwards went airborne in the trial of Talladega. In the 2009 Airborne's 499, hit and bam, hit the catch fence. Then before landing on its wheels. Did not make it to the start finish line by car. Carl Edwards had to run to the start finish line to finish. Yeah, there was accidents similar to Austin Dillon's 2015 crash at Daytona, during the Pepsi 400. But Stewart-Haas, I really do feel for Chase Briscoe. That win at Darlington was probably one of the most emotional wins he ever. Probably has to be one of the most emotional as a fan. But luckily, another team is picking up Chase Briscoe for the 2025 season, so he can continue his career. But the rest of that team, and the rest of the charters in that team, you can't help but to feel for those drivers for the teams of those drivers. He works for those cars for Stewart-Haas Racing. A lot of people are going to be over 200 people are going to be losing jobs because Tony Stewart's own team, Stewart-Haas Racing, is closing its doors after this season. Ryan Preece in the 4 car. Eric Amarola in the 10. All going to be possibly out of a ride. Noah Gragson in the 41. I really do hope teams pick them up and they find rides for the 2025 season. Because they had not been in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series for very long. Ryan Preece and Noah Gragson. Even though Noah Gragson had a full-time, ran in the Xfinity Series full-time, he hadn't really been in the Sprint Cup Series for very long. And I really do hope they get a ride. They get a ride for 2025. Because the playoffs are coming up. This Sunday is first race of the 2024 Sprint Cup Series playoffs. As well as the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series have their playoffs. The Sprint Cup Series will be going to Atlanta for the Bass Pro Shops NBA 500. 325 laps under the lights at Atlanta to start the playoffs. And this would be the last race at Atlanta for Stewart-Haas Racing as a team. I really do hope for the best of Ryan Preece and the rest of those drivers in Stewart-Haas, as well as the pit crews on pit road, and as well as the team. Next Thursday, I will do a video on stage racing. what I like and don't like about it.